Today's video, we're going to make this handbag, this little bag here, and I am using, I put some fringe on here. You don't have to do that, but I am using some of this t-shirt yarn, and this brand is a brand I got some of this yarn at the convention I went to in Phoenix in earlier this year. This yarn is by this company. It's Hooked Spaghetti, and it is a company in the Netherlands. It is available. You could get it here in the States as well. You can get it on eBay and Amazon, and there's a couple of places. If you're not able to find this kind of yarn, it's actually t-shirt material that's been cut into strips like this, and I really like this. It's got little flowers with little dots. There's other yarn companies that do also have it here. You can go check in your local craft stores like Michael's, Joann's, Hobby Lobby, that kind of thing. And if you can't find any, you could use 2 strands of chunky yarn. I would use cotton yarn to make it. Or if you have access to the thick macrame cord, it also looks really good on this style, and you could just make any color you want. And so here is what it looks like. I have some rings, this strap, and this strap, I will wear it across my body. And I also put some little fringe on the bottom. So I hope you'll enjoy this video tutorial. For today's video tutorial, I'm going to be using this t-shirt. It's like the yarn it's t-shirt that's been kind of rolled up. The brand I have here, it's called Hooked by Spaghetti. It's a Dutch company, and then I'm going to be using this 12mm hook, and you can purchase this like online. I think it's mostly available in Europe. You can get it like on eBay and Amazon. But here, and there's other companies that do this cotton, the t-shirt yarn. Okay, to begin, I'm going to go ahead and chain 16. So here, I'm going to make my slip loop, and you don't want to do it too tight. Do it kind of loose. And so here's 1. I'm going to go ahead and do my 16. 2. And 16. Remember, this does stretch, so when you finish, you can stretch it and it will get a little bit wider. And then here, beginning on the 2nd chain from the hook here, remember this doesn't count as a chain, I'm going to start doing my single crochets in every stitch. So here's 1. And if you want, you could put a stitch marker there to mark the first one. This is a little bit different because it's not too many people are using the t-shirt yarn yet. And so I'm just going to put this here. 1 chain, 1 single crochet in every chain all the way across. So as you can see, it kind of makes an interesting texture, and I like this one because they have the little they look like there's little dots and then little flowers on the t-shirt material. And I suppose you could make your own t-shirt material if you had t-shirts that you could cut in strips. And so if you can't find this brand, because it is a European brand, you could also try to find some different t-shirt yarn strips from other companies, I guess, as long as you have the little t-shirt stuff, I think. Okay, I've done my single crochets all the way across, and I did my last chain here. So to go up, you just simply chain 1, turn your work over, and then you start working 1 single crochet in every stitch. And then when you get to the end, your last stitch will be here. Your stitch marker is already there. And then I'm just going to continue until I have the number of rows that I want to be half of the height of the bag. So here I think I am going to go, to be the length of the bag. Remember, we're going to fold it over. So here I'm going to probably do my piece till either 16 inches long or 18 inches. I'm going to just see how it looks when it's 18 inches and I fold it. And then if it's the right height for my bag, then I will stop there, or else go on to my 18 inches. So that my bag could be a little bit longer, but I think I'm going to do it in 16. Okay, so this is what it will look like. I'm just going to fold it over just like that. This is where I started. Now here's my big hook. I could either do that to just kind of attach it. So I would go ahead and bring my hook here and then pull this with a slip stitch. I could then sew this tail in when I'm done. And then you can go ahead and attach this just using a slip stitch going along the side. Just like this. Or if you prefer, you could cut this and then use a needle that has a really big, this is a tapestry needle. It's got a huge eye and it's nice and round, so it won't cut me. Here I'm just going to attach, going into some of these spaces. It's not really an exact space. I'm going to go here. Oh, before I do that, let me pull this out because I wanted to show you something. If you wanted to line this bag, now is when you would do it. You would get this piece, measure out the measurements, and then cut out a rectangle. You can finish off the ends, and then rectangle, so fold it, sew your edges, and then you could then slip that in here. But since I already know that this measures 18 inches by 10 inches, I would probably just do a piece that measures 18 and maybe 18 and a half, or and then by 10 and a half, so I could have a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then just sew that in. I could slip that in later, and then once it was in there, then I could sew the top here so I could have a lining. Either way, it will be pretty easy to do. So here, what I'm going to go ahead and do that, I'm going to just crochet this with a slip stitch, making sure that I go through both sides here. I'm going to use the same hook. This is a 12 millimeter, and then I'm going to sew in my tail when I'm done. Just like that. So you can go ahead and attach that this way, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. Come and attach my yarn and do a slip stitch along the edges here. Okay, so I finished sewing my edges. I did a slip stitch on both sides, and then I used this big, huge tapestry needle. Let me see if I can show it to you guys. With this big opening, not a pointy tip. You don't want to go through the fabric here because it won't go through it. You have to, don't go into the fabric. You want to go between the spaces, because unlike yarn, it will not pull through. So that I'll try to just make a big hole, so you just want to sew in my ends. So here I just sewed in those ends, and now here to make my strap, I want to make a strap that's about between 42 to 44 inches so I can wear it across my chest. You will make yours as high or as long as you want. There's lots of different kinds of rings you could use. These are actually like split rings. I use these a lot for keychains. When I make keychains or little fobs, you could go to your craft store. There's this style. You can also get regular big rings. You could even put in a wooden handle if you want. Just attach it. It's totally up to you. I'm going to be using these split rings, and then when I come here, I'm going to put it through the front section and the back. It will open up. I know it's kind of hard to see it here, and then I'm going to split it through there. If you want, you could use the bigger ones here, and then some of these you could use pliers, open it up, and then feed it through. So either way, it's up to you what you like to do. So here I'm going to get my yarn, well, my t-shirt strip. I'm going to leave a long tail because I want to sew that in at the end. And then here I'm going to make a slip loop to get ready to work on here. Then I'm going to put that slip loop, I'm going to put my ring there. Let me get a little bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to make the slip loop, bring that ring through there, and then I'm going to go ahead and start doing my my chain. So here I'm just going to go ahead and do one chain, but since it's the beginning here, I want to reinforce it, so I'm going to go back in here and do another, I'm going to do a single crochet there. So basically I have 2 stitches there. That'll make this a little tougher than when I sew this chain, this tail into my chain. this is going to hold most of the pressure or weight. So then I'm just going to go ahead and start doing my chains. When I'm going to measure it as I'm working, and then here I'm going to work all the way across. Then you can just go ahead and get your little measuring tape and measure across. When I get to the 44, probably 42 inches because it does stretch. You could even do 40 because you know what, it does stretch. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to show you how I attach the other ring and then work back. So I'm going to go ahead and finish my chains, and we'll come back and attach the second ring together. Okay, here I had the length that I want all the way across. So let me move these clippings here. Now I'm going to get my ring here. I'm going to pull out my hook, stick that ring in there, and then I'm going to go ahead and finish that chain. Now here I'm at the end, so I'm going to go back into that same chain here, put in my stitch, and then do a single crochet just to strengthen that end. Now to make this so it doesn't stretch as much and it feels a little bit more comfortable on my shoulder, then here I'm going to go back and I'm going to just slip stitch through every chain. So there's one, and I'm going to work all the way back. So then it's just kind of a little confusing because these kind of look a little bit different, but you can use your fingers to feel where the next stitch is. So here's the next chain, and you're going to work all the way to the end. And so here now it's a little bit thicker than this. You don't have to do this. If you like the way this feels, that's fine. I'm just going to kind of reinforce mine. Then I'll come back and I'll show you how I attach the end. Okay, here I'm coming to the end. So these are my last stitches here. So here I'm going to go into that single crochet. I have one single crochet here, a chain here. Oops, excuse me. Get this here. There's a stitch I want to go into. So I'm going to grab this and try to pull it. Hey, it keeps, as soon as I push the play button, it doesn't want to get on. So once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and cut this long. Just like that. Pull out my chain so I could fasten that off. You can make a little knot if you want. And now these are going to get sewn back into my work with my big tapestry needle. And then here you could see on the other side, I just opened the ring and then I went through, let me get this closer. I opened the ring and then I went through one of the front spaces and one of the back, and then it's attached. So here, it's kind of hard to open it because I don't have a lot of hand strength or finger strength. And so I cheated and I got my husband to open it for me. And basically all he did was he split these open with his hand. He's a lot stronger than me. And he also said that if you don't have that, you can use this is a scissors, obviously you wouldn't want to do with your scissors, but maybe a screwdriver, and then you could move it this way, get it into your work, and then put it in. But he was just able to just grab it this way with his own hands, grab the front part here, go under these loops, and I don't know if I'll be able to do it because my hands are not quite as strong as his. But let me see if I could do this. I don't think he wanted to be on the video. But I would not use scissors. I would use like a screwdriver. Then you could just slip your pieces there. And move this out. So that's through the front loops. And now get one of the sections of the back here. Can you see my fingers are getting all red? And then slip it through another section back here. So here's another section. I would probably go through these here and put it through there. Open this a little bit wider. Stick it through there. See if I could get it through. See there. Okay, I got it. Yay! My hands are not that strong, so and just rotate it, slide it off until. Well, let me see here. I got this one on. In there. I think I was going the wrong way. So now it's attached both sides. So my handle is secured. And this I'm just going to wear it across my chest. If you want it shorter, You could even make it just for a hand. You could even use whatever kind of handle. You could use wooden handles. I'm going to sew this into the edges. Okay, I'm going to be adding some fringe. This is totally optional. You don't have to do it at all. You can do it across the bottom, the top, or leave it plain. It's totally up to you. I'm cutting mine about 30 inches, and then I'm going to fold it in the center. Here I'm going to find the center of my bag. I'm going to do it kind of like a V size. V shape, but you don't have to do that at all. You can get your tape, measure where you are. This is 10.5, so this is going to be about right here, my middle point. And what you're going to be attaching it, you're going to go into the bottom loops here to attach. So here, let me get a little bit closer. So I'm going to be going into the bottom of the chain here, or I guess the top, whichever you want to call it. These are going to be my center points. So here I'm going to put in my hook, and then you get your piece that you folded in half. You're going to pull it through and go through. And you know what? I've been having kind of trouble pulling my t-shirt yarn because I've never worked with this before. Once you get used to it, it'll be a lot easier. So you're going to pull it there. Now you can pull out. I'm going to make sure they're kind of still even. Pull out your fringe and then tighten your little loop. Now it's going to fall down right there. And then at the ends, I'm going to make a little knot. So you don't have to do that. I kind of like the way it looks. There's one. And here's my second little knot. And then that was a center point. It's kind of like right there. So my next center point is going to be here. So I'm going to get my next piece. This one I've already made the knots on there. And then I'm just going to work my way back up, kind of like a diagonal going up. You don't have to do that. And if you don't like fringe, then just leave it plain. You could add beads or whatever else you want to do. You could sew them on. So here's my center point right there. If I go back a little bit up, you're going to be able to see that it's going to go down there. Oops. So, and then here I'm going to go ahead and continue doing my loops up onto the sides. Okay, it's done. And as you can see here, I put the fringe kind of in a triangle shape. If you can see it a little bit more. I'll put a picture of it on the mannequin. My handle, and I could use it across my body, like around my chest. If you, like I said, if you don't like the fringe, then just go ahead and forget the fringe. This is the yarn I used. It's called Hooked Spaghetti, and but you could also use other brand t-shirt yarn, or if you have access to that super thick macrame cord. The macrame cord also works really well for this. And if you look at this, then if I lift this up, you see that, let me see here, that the fringe was added in a V shape there. So let me shake it up, and it's all set, ready to use. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial.